Okay. I don't... No, this is... Oh. This is waiting. Why? Why are we waiting? Okay. Why don't you just show what I'm doing? Okay, hold on. What do I sound like? Hello. Hello. Okay. I don't... No, this is... Oh. This is waiting. Why? Why are we waiting? Okay. Alright, time to show what I'm doing. Okay, hold on. What do I sound like? Hello. Testing time. Hello. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so time to do my thing. Alright, time to show what I'm doing. Okay, hold on. What do I sound like? Testing time. Hello. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so time to do my thing. Okay, so does this actually work? Oh wait, I think I see people. Alright, I'm gonna mute myself on the one thing. Okay, this took way too long to do. Oh my god. I won't lie, I hate computers. I'm so bad at them. So I've just decided I'm gonna just do it on my iPad. Sorry about the audio. I can't connect the microphone to the phone. But whatever. I'm just gonna record on a separate thing. And then I'll just fix it. Okay. Let me just quickly do that so that when I make a video, people don't complain. How do I record this audio? Okay, I guess I just do it on my iPad. Oh, wait, but I can't do that. Oh, no. Okay, well, I haven't thought this through fully. Hello, everyone. Anyway, I don't even think this is public. How are you guys watching this? I don't even know how you guys have figured out how to watch this. Yeah, it's private. Some people just manage to get here. Oh, that works out. Okay, we're gonna do a Q&A where I'm gonna like go through, I guess, different people's questions that I've had in the past, and maybe in future we'll do more live streams. All right, I don't know how to keep track of the chat. In the meantime, I just had a shower, so I was just putting clothes on. All right. Well, hello everybody. It's nice to have you guys here. I'm just moving things. I didn't expect this to just go live. So, welcome. I'm gonna be doing a little post for it, and then we're off. Okay, there we go. Right. Is the audio okay? Black Hawk. I feel like I recognize low budget Oppenheimer. I feel like I recognize that one. Okay, I'm gonna unplug that because there's no point. It's not recording anything. All right. I'll post a little thing in the Discord and then we'll just get started. Any questions, feel free to answer. Feel free to ask. All right, let me send a message. Oh, wait, how do I send a... Okay, I'm going to have to send a message on computer. I'm really bad at technology, guys. I won't lie to you. I'm so fucking bad at it. I I hate phones. I'm so bad at all of this. I just like drawing. I wish I could just draw and people could see it. You wouldn't believe. I mean, I had to go, like, I was on computer and then I sounded like a robot. And I didn't know how to fix that because I'm like 80 years old. So I didn't figure that out. And then I just kind of ended up just giving up on that. I think I just figured out that in life, I just like iPads. They're easy. Yeah, I recognize you, man. Thanks. Audio sounds good. I've never done this before, by the way. I think the last time I did a live stream was when I was 12. I did a Minecraft live stream. Yeah, I think that was the last time I ever did this. Okay, I'll do a little announcement. I will post it in the chat and let's get started. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected nobody to be here because this channel is still like small. But thank you for joining. We're gonna do a bunch of questions. If you want any answers to anything, just pop it in the chat and I'll just go through different, I guess, bits and bobs. I'm also just going to answer basic things because I figured I might as well edit this together and we'll make it into a kind of... if someone ever asks me a question, I can just point them at this video and say, there's the timestamp. Not that I don't like questions. I just figure it's nice to have an answer to things. So let's go through some of the most common questions. Hello everyone. Benjamin, I think that's your name. Hello, Benjamin. I'm gonna post this in the Discord for all the people so they know that I'm alive, and I'm gonna post it on, I think, YouTube, and then I think it should be good. All right. You can tell I'm really good at this. Okay. There's over 100 people in the Discord now. All right. So ask any questions. I'm actually going to just... Why don't I put that up so people that join know? I'm going to say, okay. Ask any questions. Yeah, ask anything. About Barren, by the way, like, don't just ask me about random things. I don't really want to answer questions about, I don't know, food, I guess. Now I'm going to get a question about that, that's definite. All right. Thanks for all the support, by the way, guys. I try to make the videos and stuff feel really professional, but I won't lie, outside of that, I'm not, like, sort of, I'm not anything like, you know, sort of like a monotone kind of Witcher guy. You know, I'd prefer to just be generally normal. So that they know I'm alive. True, seems like a pro. Hello, I can't read your name because it's in Cyrillic, so I'm sorry. I wish I could. My partner could read that because they know Russian, kind of. But I can't read that, so there's no chance. I wish I could, though, because it just looks cool. All right, I've posted that into the Discord, and we're gonna just go now, I think. I've got to upload the thumbnail. Live Q&A. Pop in a question, and I'll just go through them. I even type, by the way, like a mom. How do you guys type? I don't know how people do that thing where they type like, you know, you like some people can type like with the, like all the fingers at once. I just do the one finger. I'm sort of like Jacob Zuma like that. I'm just sort of a one finger, I tap away, and that's it. Okay. Ask me anything. And I guess I'll change the description in a bit. I don't know if you're supposed to put tags on any of this stuff. No clue. Anyway, for now, we'll save it as that. And I will post that onto the... Okay. Oh, wait, I've just realized I've now lost the chat. Okay, well, I hope that I can see that again, because that would be nice. Hello, everyone. There's actually, why is there so many people here? This is weird. Oh, I don't like this. This feels kind of scary. Not gonna lie. Hello, everyone. Pinky, Father William. I'm gonna get baited by one of these. Is that Minion? No, that's Dominion. That's not a Minion. My bad. Hello, everyone. Okay. Ask any questions and I'm gonna go through them. I'm gonna start this off by simply answering questions that I've been asked before that I think are important to understanding the world and the goal. I'm going to quickly post so that everyone else can join us. Join the Q&A. And yeah, then we're off. Yeah, how are you guys with tech? I'm assuming what is the average age of people watching this? Not to be a weirdo, not like that. Just like, because on my YouTube, like, analytics, it says everyone's 30, but I highly doubt that. That seems a bit... That can't be true. I'm sure most people here are like, I don't know, maybe 17 would be my guess. There we go. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm going to answer your questions. I see some people have posted a few. This is why streamers, this is why the streamer people have they have moderators and stuff that do things in the middle of the stream so they don't have to do things. Then again, they're all millionaires and that's kind of confusing to think about because most of them just sit around being crazy. Hello. Wow, why is there so many people here? 21 years old, 28, 25, 20. Okay, this is a lot older than I was expecting. 18. You're not old. 28 isn't old. Don't worry about that. That's not old. Well, I'm actually turning 22 in a few days. So I'm kind of in the same age bracket. Feels a bit weird saying I'm a bit that old now. I get weirded out now because I watch football and my whole life growing up. I've always watched football, not as for most Americans here. I mean like soccer. And I've always watched it and been like, oh, like these people are all older than me. But now I'm watching football and everybody I watch, well, most of the people I support in my team are a lot younger than me. And that feels a bit weird that so many people that are younger are playing in a sport like that. So, yeah. It feels strange when you watch something and you're like, now I'm the old one. Now I'm a bit old. All right, I'm going to go through some of your questions. You're a pro at tech, all right? Listen, I wish I was good at tech, but I didn't have a phone until, I was like 15, and I didn't really know what the internet was until I was about 12. So I was always out of the loop. At school, I was the only one that didn't have a Snapchat, and I didn't even really know what that meant, to be honest. I still don't really know. I won't lie, I don't really give a fuck, so it doesn't really matter. You'll wake up one day and realize I'm almost 30. Lucky for me, I've got a huge curly head, so I, for some reason, I don't lose any hair, and my family don't go bald, so I guess that's good. But I'll probably go grey. Is there music in Barren? There is music in Barren, and actually there is a bunch of music on the Patreon from the past composer, and there is a new track that was in the robotics video that I plan on doing more work with in the future, as I'm going to have more free time. And we kind of have a cool deal where I'll do some album art for him and he'll do music for Barren. And is there any new instruments or something like that? Oh, that's a cool idea. Like what? Like, okay, let's imagine that. What? So we've got. So like, let's say we've got a guitar. That's not a guitar, but you know, I'm drawing, by the way, behind the phone, so this is why this is a bit difficult. So let's say we've got the guitar. Are we imagining in this world there could be new new crazy instruments? That actually seems like a really good idea. But how do you make a new instrument? Because like the difficulty is, like, humans have been on this earth for so long, there's probably already an instrument that I'm going to end up accidentally copying. But I would really like to make a new instrument now that you mentioned. Is there any new instruments? Could see a shell of one of the new creatures being used as an... That's a really good idea. Oh, that's a really good idea. Okay. Oh, I kind of like that idea. Hold on. See, this is the issue. When I do these things, I just end up... Okay, hold on. Monster instrument. I'm going to write that down for later. Monster... Don't get annoyed at my spelling, by the way. I did fine in school. I got a 7 in English, which I think is like an A. But I don't know how to spell, so leave me alone. Do people use ships to get resources from other lands? Definitely. In Barren, I suppose if someone asked me to introduce the world of Barren, let's say most games are in a kind of a bubble. I would say most games like to tread a line where they think... So, like, you might think a game's real, but obviously, if you looked at a game generally like Stalker, it's quite realistic, but I think it's in this area where, obviously, if you start questioning some things, it's more, you know, in the silly realm. I think Stalker's kind of like on the real to silly realm. It's kind of like it's getting a bit close to the silly because of some of the cool ideas in it. But it feels realistic in tone. And so often, I think Stalker feels more real than, for example, Fallout, which I would say Fallout is definitely, you know, let's do Fallout and Orange. Fallout's definitely a lot more goofy feeling, and its characters have a big role to play in that because, generally speaking, their characters are a little bit more silly and their stories are a little bit more lighthearted. A tone of a world can really set whether something feels real, even if it's not. For Barren, I'm going to just do that in red. For Barren, my goal is kind of keeping it in the middle. And obviously, I'm going to have some bits where it gets a bit goofy, and you got to stay with me where I'm designing, like, monsters that can, like, you know, control plants and things, and that's going to be a bit goofy if you think about it too long. But I want to keep it in this is the world. So things like travel and ships absolutely would be a thing. That'll happen constantly throughout Barren. Because in my world, people don't stop doing things. You're not the main character, and it's based on humans. The main thing that I think I love about Barren, or I want the focus to be about, is how people in the world interact, and how new societies are born, new cultures, cults, even things like maybe how does religion affect this world? You know, is there new religions? What keeps people going? You know, what keeps people going? Why do people keep trying even though they've seen the world end? Well, not most of them, but some of them. Pirates a big issue. You know what? I think pirates actually would become a genuine nuisance The only thing that would stop them is dangerous seas, caused by maybe bad weather, and other things like that. I would also say that pirates would probably be more of an African to, maybe it'd be a coastal issue off of the coast of Africa, because remember, it's Pangaea. So I don't know if pirates would be a ginormous issue along the coast of Australia, for example, because there's nothing around, so I don't really see that being an issue. But I would say in the center of the world, around the UK, the tip of Africa, and by Spain, also it's on the border of America, that would definitely be a big issue. Anyway, I'm going to go through the questions. I didn't realize how hard this is, there's like so many questions and I want to answer all of them. This is, I don't know why I've kept this, by the way. It's not like I'm going to refer back to this this chart. Okay, let me go through some of your things because I feel bad not reading them. Oh, there is actually a radio. I would, if you guys like, actually, you know what? I'll link it. There is a radio station for Barren. It's the music that I normally listen to when I'm creating Barren. And it's a collection of the music that I think inspires the tone of the English world. I've tried to, let me know if I've got any wrong, but I think every song is before 1989. I think so. Sometimes you listen to a song and you really like it and you put it in there, and then I go, is that actually from before the 90s? Most of the time it is, because I love music from the 80s. But anyway, I will link that in the chat for you guys. Here we go. That's the playlist of Barren. Okay. I answered, do people use ships? Is there any animal with a big horn? You could hollow it out and use that as an instrument. Definitely. I think there's already an animal with a huge horn. This sounds like this is getting dirty. Not like in a weird way. Listen, I'll know Barren's big enough when I see the first person draw something grotesque about one of the creations, and then I can go, all right, I think that's where I clock off. No more Barren for me. You know what? There are the warbirds, and they kind of have an interesting, like, top to their head that you could use for some sort of instrument. I could see that. Trying to imagine a new instrument will make me go mad. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. I think I didn't realize how hard that would be when I was actually trying to think of something I haven't seen before. All right. Oh, by the way, like, there will definitely be things like old world mixing with new world. When I was growing up, for people that don't know in the chat, I grew up in South Africa. There is lots of clashes of what you could say modern and past. I grew up in South Africa and I met people that were in tribes. I also met people that, lived in mansions. Having lived in the UK my whole life, I've been to people's houses that are, ridiculous sizes that look like something Ronaldo would live in. And I'm trying to get that across in videos that in the UK, it's not that things are going to be, everything's normal again. There will be a really weird mix, because the world has ended, of some people kind of being stuck in the past, whether that be some people being almost tribal, some people being behind on tech. But then there'll be other people that are living almost like a normal life, but obviously the world is fucked and full of weirdos and monsters. So I'm trying to show that balance off, because obviously if you've lived your whole life in America and you've lived your whole life in, actually, if you lived your whole life in anywhere that isn't a second world or first world, third world country, it's a little bit hard to try to explain to someone like, when the world of like past and future meet. I, but yeah, people definitely would still follow old religions. I'm gonna have that be a thing where there will still be lots of Christians and stuff like that. I'm not gonna. My main thing is for me is like, I'll happily do videos on those topics, but I just get a bit worried because I know some people want to argue about that stuff, and having grown up in a super religious place, I understand people's passion for believing, but I don't want to make people fight over that because it's a fictional world. I don't really care if you want to pick a side. So most of the time I'm going to make videos on cultists or people that are more unhinged and not, just, hey, this guy believes in God. Yeah. Boogeyman. Are you going to branch out to other nations? Absolutely. I'm trying to do it more and more when I make art. I want to make a video on the ocean, which will be a video that kind of features the UK, Denmark, America, and I think even Iceland, with the different kind of crazy life that you can find in the ocean. And when doing that, there is kind of this interesting difficulty of like, how do I make it all tie together without like making people get confused or struggle to read the tone. But I want to branch out a lot more. I want to do that as well because a lot of my viewers are Australian, American. I'd love to show people a sneak peek of what the world is like where they're from. But alongside that, I want to say that on the Discord, or if you're a viewer watching this, the whole point of this is that it's something you can add to. If you want to make a setting in the world of Barren that is, let's say you're Polish, because there's a lot of people that are Polish that like Barren. I want you to come over to the Discord, or you don't have to. You can just do it yourself, and take the idea of Barren, the tone and the world, and you go, I'm going to set it in... Okay, for my world is about 25 years after the end. You can go, I'm going to set it 50 years in the future, and I want to explore my hometown. The monsters, the stories of people, and then just have the fun of creating your own world, have that circle of being involved in the community and sharing your ideas of your take on Barren. And obviously I'll happily, I love looking at people's ideas. That's my favorite thing on the Discord, is seeing all of your crazy cool ideas, because people come up with things that I wouldn't think of. And it's nice having that perspective. So yeah, definitely want to do that. Okay, let me just have a look. Okay, that's... I think... Okay, there are... I didn't realize there'd be this many people already. I thought it'd be like one guy, I won't lie. So I'm trying to read them without ignoring anyone. Any reason why anti-government factions are called roundheads or refer to themselves as that? Remember learning that word when referring to English Civil War, Three Kingdoms. Is the Unbroken Kingdoms in a civil war? Yeah, I think that was the original reason. I won't lie, I came up with the idea of calling them that probably... I mean, it's crazy to say, that's probably 3 years ago. But I think that was the inspiration because England is in kind of a civil war. Part of England is covered in battle, and people that don't like the new world. So the main setting, but I've tried to expand in the videos, but the main setting for Barren currently is York, in England, and York has this river that runs through the middle, and on one side you have the 103, and then on the other side, oh my bad, and then on the other side you've got the government, and there is this kind of battle going on between them, and in the middle over here is the deformed Waldorf area. There is this kind of civil war where parts of the UK would prefer if the 103 would have win. And what winning means for a faction like that, I don't know what that means. Probably controlling York, because you couldn't take over the whole of England realistically. That's insanely hard. But some people love the 103, and others support change and want to see what the government may do. But yeah, that definitely would be I think the reason why. But obviously that happened. I wrote this like a long time ago, and I might be wrong there. Yeah. Okay. I have some good post-apocalyptic drawings from years ago. Might suggest them. What's the status of holidays in Barren? Okay, I really like that question. Hold on. Let's get a new tab. Okay. Holidays in Barren. What a good idea. What are the new holidays that would come up? You know what? If there's one thing English people love, is a pointless holiday. Since living here, there are so many holidays that I have no clue why they're a thing. I think this is a thing in America and most even European places, like Pancake Day. Never heard of that before. Loads of these things where I just think, okay, who came up with that? So in England, bank holidays are a huge thing. I think they might be a thing all around the world. That is a day, normally a Monday, where everything is kind of closed. It is a day where banks are shut. You get an extra day off. Obviously, you get a day off on days like when the Queen died. If the Queen dies, watch some football. That's what I think I did, actually, if I remember rightly. What else? What's another English or just world thing? Let's think of world thing. Oh, you know what? I can give you one. The blinding hour. There definitely would be a blinding hour holiday. The blinding day. You would definitely get that day off. Have a chill. Think about the past. Have a chill. Think about the dead. Honestly, the worst thing about when you go to school in England is they have all these pointless holidays. But then, like, on Veterans Day, they don't let you actually, like, have a holiday. And I feel like that should be a day where you're allowed to, like, think about the past and the sacrifice of people. But you just got to go to school. It's always a bit crap, to be honest. I never understood that, because I don't really understand what a bank holiday is, other than, obviously, the name is obvious. Yeah, new holidays, I think, would be a thing if you lived in places like the UK, parts of America, because America is so big. There will be parts that are largely, I want to say, unlived in, and even maybe kind of very, very different. Most of Europe, I'm going to say, most of Europe. I think Africa is going to be a bit nutty. Having come from there, I think Africa, if the world ended, would be simultaneously the coolest place to go and also the most crazy. So I think Africa will be all over the place. And I'm not sure about. I'm not sure what do I think about, like, Australia. Do Aussies like a holiday? Is anyone here an Aussie? I don't know anything about Australia other than when we played them in rugby. Okay. I'll go through some more questions. My bad. I'm on a backlog trying to like read people's things. Okay. That was actually really fun. If anyone can think of a good new holiday, let me know. I'll write them down because I'm gonna try and breeze through all the questions so I'm up to date on the chat. Jesus Christ, how do streamers do this when they have like 2,500 people in here? They just probably don't read the chat. But I just want to read the chat. Okay, people revert back into what they need in order to survive. Yep, absolutely. How do people get fresh water? You can boil water, and other than that, Harold, there will be old world things that come back into. So, for example, in the UK, they've got super clean water. I remember when I moved here, I was blown away by it. Obviously, this is what happens when you set up a proper government and system. Having lived in South Africa, a great way to possibly die and get sick, I even knew someone that died from drinking water, is drinking tap water. You know, you cannot drink tap water. You're insane if you do that in Africa. And yeah, when I moved over here, I remember I went to a friend's house. I think I went over to a friend's house for the first time, and he started drinking tap water, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh, bro, you're gonna die. You're actually gonna die. And then I found out that they like clean their water. So yeah, definitely you can in the UK get clean water due to how they purify water here anyway. And I think in America they do that as well. I know there was like, I remember there was like some crazy news story where there was parts in America where there was apparently like a weird spill of chemicals, so people got sick. So maybe not all of America. In Africa, again, probably a bit of a free for all. Yeah, so definitely you can get clean water just by some old things coming back. But in lots of parts of the world, things like water will almost be a currency when you trade. I assume the oceans are covered in ash. Not all of them. There are parts of the ocean that are ruined, changed permanently. But there's also parts of the ocean that will probably largely be okay. There hypothetically is an island in Barren where things are almost normal. Obviously, fishing would be a bit scary because you need to worry about, well, I mean, you don't want to eat a fish that's going to make you sick or is carrying radiation. But things could almost be normal somewhere. Yeah. Oh, Christ, what do sea creatures look like now? I won't lie, Jack. If you didn't like sea creatures before, you're not going to like them now. They're worse. They're bigger and they're weirder and they look very, very, very strange. I designed a jellyfish in the first video I made back, which was, I didn't even release that guy yet. I haven't finished him yet. Yeah, he looks weird. And I had the idea that he paralyzes you and then he makes you drown and then he eats you. Having been stung by a jellyfish, not a good feeling. So being paralyzed by one would not be great. I don't think that'd be fun. And the Denmark fish, which I did design, I think I called it the burglar shark, is this horrible, grotesque creation that I can't wait to share when I make that ocean video. Okay. You were devouring noodles. No worries. You can go and have food. You can eat food while you're watching this if you want. That's what I do when I watch YouTube. I have an idea for a few creatures and other nations. I'll suggest them later in Discord. Cool. Feel free to do that. I recognize your username, but I don't think that's the same name you have on Discord. I don't think, but I recognize your username. I think you're the cool Polish guy. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking. Would there be drop sea levels? Would there be drop sea levels? Oh, do you mean would the ocean level drop? You know what? I think the ocean level wouldn't the ocean level rise? Maybe. What would happen if the world ended? I'd have to ask someone. Is it fixed? I'm so bad at this. Is this still working? Are we back? Hello, the void. Oh no. Or is there a new stream? Okay. I don't really know how tech works. So, I've never used this live streaming platform before. It says I'm live, you see. It's back. Oh my god, I figured out technology. We are back. Okay. Hello everyone. My bad. I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, I won't lie to you guys. I live in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. It's lovely. It's beautiful. And I'm at peace. But the internet is dog shit. And that only hurts me when I'm uploading videos and when I'm trying to watch football because it's hell. But other than that, it's a lovely life. So anyway, we're back. I'm going to just try and get through some of the questions. Okay. A holiday celebrating the end of the winters would be a great one. SAS, by the way, I was answering about that, is definitely in Barren. Armies, militaries would still be a huge thing in this new world. I imagine there isn't really a United States of America anymore, just fractured states and predominantly new ones. Definitely. In my idea of America, I mean, I did an image of it. I did a version of the Statue of Liberty, which featured different forms of culture. I think it had a Native American holding an eagle. And I just kind of wanted to explore America in a different way. I feel like we always see America in like the common way of, if you're going to make Boston or New York, it's going to get a lot of people there because America is a bit of an iconic place. But I want to look at America in a different way, and maybe explore places that and people that are not spoken about a lot in media. So I definitely want to do that. Africa would be the most nutty place. Yeah, absolutely. Africa would be unbelievable. What is Showman's disease exactly? Showman's disease is a disease that has an unknown origin, but it's believed that people that enter shards kind of get left in this state of almost like shell shock, but they're extroverted, and they mumble and sing and wander off. It's kind of like if you've ever had to care for someone who has dementia, they might just have days where they're a bit hard to direct or control. They kind of just want to do whatever they want, which is really sad. That's kind of what Sherman's disease is. It's like almost you're watching someone just kind of wander, and they don't really seem to know where they're going. And often most of them die because most people in this new world don't have time to keep, telling someone, hey, you can't do that. You got to relax, stop singing. So yeah, it's a little bit of an interesting, weird disease that I was surprised and happy to see lots of people liked. Hello, you wanted to do space content. Do you feel there'd be aliens or people from space going to Earth? I don't know if in the world of Barren it's that possible to go from Earth to space currently. They would have to rebuild the world significantly to allow them to do that. But I have hinted that there are people on the moon that are assumed alive. And who knows what's going on. I really enjoyed that space race video. I think that was one of the most fun bits I've done. Honest to God. I had so much fun designing history. Yeah, and I'm really happy that lots of people like that. So appreciate the support. May I suggest for whenever you touch on the USA that the Great Plains are ruled over Mongol-like horse lords, and the giant lakes are plagued with pirates. Um, yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna be Charlie Day. Yep, we can do that. um, Perhaps a day where the skies have finally cleared, being celebrated. That's a great idea. That's a really good idea. Okay, I think I've caught up now. All right, I have caught up. Okay, I will answer any questions that you want answered. I've caught up now. Here we are. Texas in Houston, Texas. Do you have to say Houston, Texas? Texas is huge, actually. I don't know why I said that. You could explore what you think Texas would be like. I've heard Texas. I've met a lot of people that say South Africans and Texans would get on. I don't know if that's true, but if it's anything like South Africa and it's a bit nutty, I'm sure it would be really fun in Barren. I know you guys love your guns. When I was growing up, I loved guns, so I think that would be a very fun, explosive place. I can't read your name because it's in. Let me try to guess. Is that Korean? I think that's Korean. Let me know if that's Korean. How have I been? I've been really good. Really been enjoying making the videos. Are there robots? Yep, there's been robots in past videos, and there is definitely robots throughout the world. There's a mix of robotics and some cybernetics, pre-war and post-war. Someone would hear the space radio signals and try to launch up there with their own shitty rocket. Definitely. I would want to do that, but I would get told that I'm copying, obviously, the iconic New Vegas mission. But don't get me wrong, there would definitely be people that would want to go to space and the moon, especially with all the propaganda that went around pre-war. They were trying to spread that whole idea of making a new world. And considering Earth is so bad, how bad can the moon be? Even though, having said this, how do you guys feel about this? If you got told right now you could go and be one of the first people on Mars, would you do it? I always think no. Like, I've seen so many people that be like, oh, I really want to go to space. Like, space is really cool. I would not want to do that. I think that would be so bad. Yeah, I just don't think it would be. I think it'd be horrible. It wouldn't be fun at all. And I feel like the whole thing that Elon wants to do, I think it's Elon Musk, people are ignoring that surely the first, let's say 10 people that go there, the chances of failure are so high that there'll be some sort of tragedy where it'll have to just be people after people after people go until they finally get a foothold on living on Mars. That's just how I see it. I'm sure surely there'll be something where they go to Mars and someone gets sick and then everybody gets screwed up. Somebody loses their mind and just wants to leave and smashes something up and then nobody can eat. Humans are a bit dangerous for that. So I would not go to Mars. Yes, I would. Okay, we're having a lot of yes. Yes, it's Korean. Oh, I feel so proud I got that. It's because I played GeoGuessr. Hello. Yes, you would. That's insane. Oh, you're fair enough. I like being able to breathe. See, that's me. We get on. Sorcerer, we get on. Yes, my life is boring. Come on. I know it might be boring, but you might die. Absolutely. Okay, father. Okay. I don't care if I die. Fair enough. Mars sounds fun. I think Mars would be fucking shit. I'm too city bound. You need proper pioneers to handle that sort of stuff. Very true. I don't think I would like that at all. Several minute delay on Wi-Fi will suck on Mars. Yeah, true, but I feel like people are ignoring the obvious things like you won't have a partner in space. You will not have access to, freedom of playing games probably, because you'll be busy trying to survive and create a new ecosystem. I feel like overall Mars sounds terrible. And everybody that gets sold this idea that it would be fun, I feel like it would be dog shit. I don't know. I'm the guy with the fish profile picture in the Discord who suggests the land barnacles. Oh, okay. Okay, I do know you. Fair enough. I didn't expect multiple people to say yes. Okay. What's the difference between Sherman's disease and madness? So, like, Sherman's disease is a disease that is someone that's corrupted, and uh, unless there's some sort of magic man in the world, they're gone. Their mind is ruined. Madness is a concept in the world that is said by locals and people that live in this world. And it's kind of just that slogan of like, when you've lived in England long, I was going to call them nutters, but then I thought the internet would ruin that and make it somehow perverted. So I just went with madness. Because when you've lived in England long enough, like a really common saying is like someone goes like, "Oh, he's lost his head. He's nuts. He's got a few screws loose," for example. Madness is this concept that people in this world start losing it, and whether it's due to radiation or constant exposure to violence or the way the world is, people start to slip and they kind of lose that line where maybe at one point they were normal and they were a citizen, and then at some point they kind of are a little bit more unhinged. And if it gets really bad, madness can be linked with things like, obviously, when someone gets sick and they become deformed in this world, and it crosses over with all those things. It's kind of a broad term to describe people that are a little bit nuts. Kind of like, when you see someone in your town or your city and you think, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in a room with him, by myself. He seems a bit nuts. That's kind of what madness is. Sherman's disease is definitely someone that is already mad. They've lost their mind. I wonder if you're going to dive into Eastern culture like China, Korea, and Japan. You know what? I would love to, but I would also love to be respectful and get someone that is from those places to inform me on those things. I didn't grow up in those places, so I like doing the UK because I've lived here long, and I like talking about Africa. I could do that in the world because I lived there so long. I don't really like forcing, like, I think a lot of people look at places like China, Korea, and Japan and make a lot of weird assumptions, or I don't know, they force a weird narrative. I feel like in movies, Asians are always a certain way, and people from Korea and Japan are always ninjas and shit like that. And I'd rather be more honest and have it not be like that. So I'd like to get that across. Anyway, I had a call, Miss Ad, if you responded to my question, if you're going to dive into... Oh, just did. You heard it first here. Going to Mars equals girl, boy, friendless. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't actually know. Has no one ever spoken about this? Have they ever spoken about this on, like, space stations? Surely, humans are humans. Are they allowed to partner up, or is that like not professional? It's kind of more of like a reality of not going mad. I don't want to make the chat get full of people being odd, but people need to kind of do certain things. I don't know. Surely they're allowed to do that. Maybe they're not because they're like spacemen. So who knows? Dude, imagine building a sandcastle with Mars sand. I don't think it would work. I swear. I don't know. I think it's just rocks, isn't it? That's a good idea, though. That does sound fun, but there's no water, so making a sandcastle with no water is just a shit sandcastle. How is humor and entertainment doing in Barren? Humor and entertainment will always survive, no matter what's going on in the world. I mean, World War II was going on, and one of the biggest tragedies in the world was happening. And Charlie Chaplin made a movie where he was making fun of Hitler and did a joke about things that some people say you can't joke about. I definitely think humor would survive. English people love a laugh. If there's one thing I love about English people, it's their sense of dark humor. They can just... They don't mind making a joke of anything. dark humor would absolutely be. Oh yeah, William said it. Dark humor would be everywhere. Yeah, I mean, sarcasm would be at an all-time high as well. You know, you could always say the line of like, when someone goes like, "Oh, why aren't you doing this?" You'd be like, "Well, it's not like the world ended, you know, well, it did." Yeah, so humor would still survive, and I think I want to make a video about entertainment, because I would like to say that television would still be a thing. Okay, you know, since Mars has a lot of iron, if you make a snowman out of sand, it would be an Iron Man. Maybe you should go to Mars. You said you didn't want to go to Mars, but maybe you should. One of the scientists is in the chat. What would be the what would be a memes be like in Barren? I don't know if memes were a thing in '89. When was the first meme? Does anyone know that? I don't really understand memes. You know, I grew up so long without the internet that when I moved here, like most people in my school had already like they already were on the internet, and I was kind of like not on it. Yeah, I never really got them. But I think memes wouldn't be a thing. Maybe not. Maybe they would be. That's a good point. May I recommend you looking into? I can't read that, but I'm going to take a screenshot and I'll type it in for you. I'm not going to try read that because I'm dyslexic. I'm not actually, I don't think. I mean, I got told I was dyslexic growing up, but then I did well in English, so I'm not sure how that works. I've had patients whose skin just come right off. Jesus Christ. Are you a doctor? That sounds horrific. I'm so sorry about that. That sounds, oh my God. What the hell? That is gross. Are you like a doctor? Oh my God. Wow, okay. I will look into that, and I'm going to regret it, I know that. Imagine being the first person to die on Mars. What a legend. See, no, this is what I'm saying. William, someone's going to go up there and go a bit nuts and just go, fuck it, I'm going to off myself. And then, are they a legend? Or is it just kind of sad? Because, you know, I think people up there are going to really struggle. I suppose in a way you'll always be remembered. I mean, especially if you did it in a funny way. Like, imagine if you, like, backflipped, like, onto your neck or something. I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, a creative way where people would go, that guy did that, and it would become, like, a saying in the world. Maybe some people who were Navymen fled underwater with space diving equipment, who would live underwater, eventually growing whiter skin and having worse eyes. I don't know how feasible that is because of blood pressure and having watched way too many things about like diving and documentaries about that. I don't know if that's feasible, but there definitely is going to be some form of weird human that is better at swimming and breathing underwater, for sure. All right, I think, oh man, I'm actually keeping up with the chat now. Humor is eternal. It would be fun to think of Barren-related humor. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's going to be so many people making jokes about horrific things. Like, I've thought about like how many times I want to have a part in a video where people in the world are like, people would constantly be making jokes of like, hey, if you don't do your work, I'm going to say you're going mad. You know, I'm going to tell the government that you're going a bit crazy. 1940s, I think. Kilroy was the first meme. What is it? Okay, I'm gonna type that in. I hope I don't regret that. What? Kilroy. Kilroy was here. What the hell is this? Okay. Yeah. Who is Kilroy? I want to know who Kilroy is. Robert Kilroy. A former member of parliament. Oh, okay. There you go. I learned something there. My mom grew up in the 80s and they had memes. What memes though? I need to know what that means. I want to know now. Wait, I think you're right. Okay. They didn't call them memes, but that's what they... Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, when I say meme, I guess I mean an internet joke, but obviously humor has always been a thing. According to Google, the word meme was first used in 1976. Yeah, but I think it used to have a scientific meaning of some form, if I remember right. Teens in the 80s were saying, I wear my sunglasses at night on my eyes without a face. I wear my sunglasses at night on my eyes without a... What the fuck does that mean? um, are you like a doctor? I feel like you must be a doctor or something, or a nurse. If you're a nurse, credit. That is a horribly hard job. Oof, God. I may have missed it, sorry, but you talking about space. Did you say anything about space post nuking? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean that people in space would be nuking Earth, or the other way around? I don't know if that'll be a thing. I'm also glad to be in the stream. I usually miss my favorite creator streams, and this is brilliant. Thank you. I will upload this, by the way, separately. I might edit it, as I don't think I'll be doing a Friday video this week, as I've been doing lots of art and I want to make a bigger video. But I might upload an edited version of this. Yeah, Kilroy is great. I don't even know what that is, but that's great. Bye, Harold. Thanks for the support. Is the main power source in post-war Britain coal? I think there are still coal reserves around in Britain. Well, in 1989, the world was changing a lot, and in Barren, the world was definitely going to be changing a lot. But coal would absolutely make a return, and I think, in some ways, trains might revert back to it for a time. But there would still be power stations and things like that. The issue with it that would come is kind of in the current world, isn't it? It's people would fight over power as it is the most useful thing. Oh, two different songs. Oh, okay. I was wondering what the Celtic. The Celtic. Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah. The Celtic area of Britain are like. What is Scotland, Wales, and Ireland like in Barron? Well, knowing the Scottish, it would still be raining, and that's all that matters, because that's all they ever talk about. Now I'm joking. And Wales, I think, would be very similar to the UK, but Ireland is actually very different, as in the UK it's very separate, and obviously I think it's going to feature a big part where I'm going to talk about the civil war that kind of was going on between Ireland and, at points, even, England getting involved. How history might have changed there. Ownership of the country might be different. So I have thought about Ireland a bit more. As for Scotland, I haven't really thought a lot about Scotland, but I definitely would love to explore it, because Scotland looks really, really cool. And hold on, I think I've done it. I've caught up now. What happened to people in space after the bombs? Can they go to Earth? Can people of Earth go to space? So, people on Earth could go to space. If governments sorted things out, or enough people sorted it out, there is absolutely still the info out there for them to create new machines, new tech to go to space. The people in space could go back to Earth, but having literally witnessed the world end, as they literally would be able to see it, I don't think most people in space would go back to Earth, as their mission was pretty simple for most of them. It was to build a new world, and try to make something that could be a new kind of sustainable society, I suppose. But at some point, you do have to wonder, and I'm not going to say the answer here, as I like to leave things as a mystery. How do you think it would affect you if you literally saw the world end? Would you carry on trying, or would you give up? I think a lot of people wouldn't carry on. But yeah, I'll leave that up to you to imagine how things might have changed. There's a new newspaper meme as well. It was a line of gibberish that editors accidentally left in. It became a joke, and newsprinter companies. I would love to know what it was. Any new genres have popped up post-war? I think music and Barren would definitely be the classic sit around a bonfire and play some music. But radio is still definitely a thing. I linked a playlist above that I can post again. Hold on. This is a playlist of... Here we go. This is a playlist of, the music in the UK that is still listened to. But other than that, music will absolutely change. Some kind of robot that infused with flesh would be cool. Maybe one with robot eye holes and an eyeballs poking out through it. Yeah, I want to do more robot stuff and feature more robotics and cybernetics, as it was a thing I planned on exploring throughout the creation of Barren. The only reason I don't make more videos on them is because when I'm making the art, it just takes longer than other parts, as robots are really hard to draw. Yeah. The British Isles would be the height of in the height of troubles by the time the nuclear apocalypse happens. Yeah, it would actually. And that's what I was trying to say, that I think it would it would be very fun to explore how that would change so much of English culture, and what Ireland might be like. It could be completely separate and governed by itself at this point, or be fully controlled, depending on the stance of the government at the time. Some branch of government that specializes in researching effects of mutations had on animals and other plants. Oh yeah, the government in the New World don't ignore the fact that shards are a thing. It's not like in this world there is going to be people that are just going to go, oh yeah, those are just a thing we're just going to not talk about in the government. It definitely would be something covered and looked at. I picture that the government would largely try to understand these things, but sometimes there's nothing to understand. It's just a very strange new world. So yeah, they definitely would look into that. I think I'm going to have it be in future videos where I even talk about medication and new forms of medicine that the government have made in attempts to try and combat, well, the lasting effects of radiation on the world, soil, plants, even animals, I'm trying to find the name of the newspaper. Yeah, let me know if you find it. Some kind of people that would mainly work on planes, etc., who pillage towns for resources, almost like air pirates. I kind of love that. I've always been amazed. I when I was growing up in South Africa, they don't let you do. They don't teach you history that isn't related to South Africa, where I was doing schooling. Actually, in any school I went to. So I never knew about a lot of things. And I remember when I first found out what a Zeppelin was, I was like, I don't know, I just didn't... I suppose it's different if you've grown up somewhere where you've always, been open-minded. I remember when I first learnt about it thinking it was fake, because I was like, how does that even work? How does that work? That's a really fun idea. But the thing is, if I do a Zeppelin, people are going to mention the Brotherhood of Steel constantly because of the thing in Fallout 4. Yeah. Would less populated cities rise to have larger populations from mass migration from said big cities? Yeah, absolutely. Post-war London, Manchester, Liverpool would all be places destroyed by the fact that they are capitals, in a sense. And as such, other places around it would have a kind of boom in economy. Obviously, for a few years there would be no economy, but it would definitely have a population boost, and you would see a rise of new places having larger populations. That's kind of why I did York, because it's in this place where lots of cities around it are really large, and I could imagine people migrating there because I highly doubt if there was a bomb dropped on the UK, one of the places they'd pick is York because it's quite tiny. Yeah, I like that idea. It's a good point to cover. At some point, I'd think I'd try going on for as long as possible. You know, despite it all, there's a bit of pride. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Humans do have a fight in them. I mean, saying that, I think many humans have that, so I wouldn't be surprised if people would just carry on and try and build something new. Yeah. Wales would also be an interesting thing in Barren, since at this point in time, uh, Welsh devolution within the UK is a fiercely debated topic. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Um, I've always wanted to talk to someone that's Welsh about that, because I mean I've only ever actually in my school there was only like 4 or 5 guys that were from Wales, and 3 of them were basically British, to be honest, because they lived there. They didn't really talk about Wales, and the other 2 were super Welsh. And I've always wanted to talk about that. You know, kind of like the difference in culture. What is it like? Welsh history, even. You know, I'd love to explore that. Um, but they were always great at rugby. You know, they were the only guys that were good at rugby. Yeah, they were always great at rugby. What's the best region to live in Barron? In the world? Honestly, it would be an island in the middle of the ocean that you managed to somehow live on. Other than that, I mean, it's a bit horrible. You wouldn't want to live in Africa, probably for the most part. Even though the people are beautiful, you wouldn't want to live in most of Russia. Probably, it would be just a winter landscape of black ash for the most part, still untouched. And if you do touch it, you'll just die of radiation at some point. So I would say the UK is a good place, but not a great place, as a middle ground. Some people from another nation, like Belgium, Germany, who migrated to England and established their own little nation or town. Oh, that definitely would happen. Europe is so interconnected that, you can get on a bike and you can cycle. It's so mind blowing to me as someone that grew up in somewhere like as large as Africa, that like in Europe you can get on a bicycle and you can cycle across Europe, and it's not that insane. It's not like a crazy feat or some weird like, oh man, that guy's like an athlete. So people would definitely migrate from all over. I'm gonna fully feature all kinds of accents and different nations in Barren. I'm not gonna just have everybody speak, like a classic English accent. And I want to include some of the accents that never get put in games, like Scousers, Manc, I want to include accents that aren't put in games for the most part to, help that most people would struggle to understand them, but, that's fine. Switzerland would be the best. Mountains, bunkers, and neutral ground. That's actually a good point. Yeah, you know what? Switzerland might not be a bad shout. Yeah, maybe that's a decent one. Not Welsh, but the history is epic. Oh yeah, I mean, I have learned a lot about Welsh history, but I'd love to talk about the culture to people that have lived there and grown up there. Medieval Wales is sick. What about New Zealand? Is it still an island? New Zealand is in the world, but it's more fragmented and it's broken apart. Part of it is fully connected to the mainland of, I think, Tasmania and then Australia. So New Zealand is definitely different, but I don't know what New Zealand would be like. Maybe it'd be like Lord of the Rings in in an apocalypse, which would be kind of cool. Yeah. No worries if you can't find the name of the newspaper editor. Yeah, I should probably be like, hold on. It's really hard to like read things and just do things. Okay, I'm just gonna put this here. Answering questions. Answering questions. I'm going to put a little smiley face. There you go. Little smiley face. Thanks for all the people watching this long. It is just me talking, so I know that's not as fun as, me drawing monsters. Maybe I'll show you guys a sneak peek, but I'm a bit worried I'm going to spoil things. Oh, am I allowed to do that? Oh, I might show a sneak peek of some stuff. I don't know. But it's kind of fun leaving it and just pretending I'm not doing anything and then being like, boom, actually, here's some art. Yeah. Hello there, low budget. Wales is good for a cheap pint. Yeah, Wales is really cheap. I don't know why. Having been there, Wales is ridiculously cheap. Also, every pub has the football on, and you don't have to. Yeah, Wales has some nice things about it, but yeah. I think freak shows would reappear in Barren. Oh, freak shows would definitely be in Barren. I'm gonna have like a more dark take on things on Barren. I gotta worry about not offending people, obviously, because things nowadays are so like sensitive that I feel like some people will take it in a weird way where they're like, oh, you're like saying let's laugh at people that have disabilities or something like that. But obviously, the reality is people suck, and that if I'm including that in my world, it's not because I'm joining in on it. I'm just saying that people in this world would definitely point at people and laugh like they have throughout history. Yeah, I think you should look into petroleum files for when you get into a place with a large amount of oil. Okay, I'll look into that. I like taking screenshots, so I just remember. Will do. Will do. Also, when it comes to other nationalities and languages in the UK, don't forget Scandinavia. When much of the focus is on Druvik. Scandinavia. Oh yeah, you mean like Scandinavian places? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Scandinavia in the world of Barren is literally right on top of the UK. It's along the whole coastline, squeezed up. So, the UK would be heavily mixed in with Sweden, Finland, and you'd probably even have people that live in the UK that speak those languages. So yeah. What new sports would be invented? I'm not going to lie to you. I think the biggest sport in the world that would still be played in the UK would be football. People love football here. I mean, I love football, but I haven't grown up in South Africa. It only really became a big thing when the World Cup went there. But let me tell you, if the world ended today, tomorrow there would be someone in a park with 11 other people and then 11 other people playing football. And that's just, I don't think that would change. It would still probably be the most popular sport in the world. Maybe there'd be like lots of people that would enjoy like old school football, like, where it was more like rugby. But yeah, football would still be huge. Have there been any apocalypses in post-war Britain? If so, what would be the worst one? Apocalypses in post-war Britain. You mean like a new apocalypse? Yeah, there definitely was. I mean, there was a huge amount of. Okay, you know what? Let's do that. So, about I want to say, let's go. About 15 to 20 years after the bombs. Hold on, let's just draw a big bomb. Boom. I'm getting a new iPad soon, so that's why this setup's a bit weird for me. Okay, about 15, 20 years after the bombs, there was kind of a new surge of illness in the world. And with that, obviously, comes fear. And with fear comes people doing crazy things. So when this new crop of diseases kind of was coming up because people were resurfacing a lot more, you had new sorts of things like necrosis, which was huge and widespread. But then you had other things that were smaller, like covered in the illness video, which I'm just going to call illness video for this sake. But necrosis was so big that it caused a pandemic that was not like COVID. It was definitely a lot worse than COVID. Having grown up in South Africa, I would say it's a lot more akin to... Am I allowed to say like things on here, or am I gonna get whatever? It was a lot more akin to HIV, which growing up in South Africa, that was like the hugest thing. Everywhere you went, every teacher that looked after you if you fell over had to wear gloves. Everyone had to have jabs nearly every week. Constant checkups all the time. It was kind of like HIV too. I know I'm not calling it the other word because I'm thinking I might get in trouble if I use that. I don't know. YouTube's a bit funny with those things. So what happened was the government were forced to react, and God damn it, I was just getting in the flow there. God damn it. Hold on. I'm going to have to do that again. Hold on. Oh man, I was getting in the flow there. Oh, we always get around the 40-minute mark and then it just crashes because I live in the bloody countryside. Man, I was flowing. I was in there, you know. I was really enjoying that as well. Okay, hold on. While I'm waiting for people to join back, let me just have a look. Speedrun killing each other? Definitely. You know what? Yeah, freak shows probably were, maybe a way to make money. It is sad that, obviously, back in the day, they're a lot better at that in the UK now. I know people in the UK, people that have disabilities get help, which is really cool, because in South Africa, you don't get any help for that kind of thing at all. Yeah. Warlords would absolutely be a thing. I think he talks about it before, but what are your main inspirations? I remember you talked about Dark Souls before, but Barren feels surprisingly familiar with Darkwood. You know, Mr. Sweetly, I've never played Darkwood, and I've never watched it, but everybody says it's similar, so I must give it a go. I just don't have a lot of time, because if I'm not doing Barren, I'm normally doing commissions. But I want to give it a go. My main inspirations would be Stalker and Dark Souls. My first ever game I played in this country that I was allowed to buy, because we had barely any money, was Dark Souls. So it was a huge inspiration for me when I was young, because I always did art, and I remember thinking, I want to do that for a living. And Stalker was a game that when I got older and I played Fallout, I remember playing and I was like, wow, this game is like almost perfect. And that's kind of what inspired me to do Barren, really. Yeah. Okay. Are we back? Am I back? I don't know if we're back. What do you like, as long as you are concerned about? Am I back? I'm not sure if I'm back. Okay, wait, no, people are commenting as if everything's normal. Okay. Okay, cool. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna carry on. I'll carry on. So there was a huge split in the government, and what happened at some point was a new person in parliament, which is kind of like our version of presidents. A new leader was appointed, and she had a much harsher take on it. She thought, let's avoid let's avoid damage. And as such, for, I want to say, about 6 to 8 months, people that had necrosis would either be burnt, exiled, so basically sent to their death, or they would be blocked off. So essentially, if you were someone that you were thought to have necrosis, you essentially, your life was, for the most part, over. And then after that 6 to 8 month period, after a lot of criticism, things, however, did get better, and infection rates went down. Less people were getting it, but a lot of people were killed in the process, and that lasted, I want to say, probably about 5 to 6-ish years. Obviously, it only got bad in the last 6 to 8 months, which is when Barren would be set. Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of the only thing I can think of that was like an apocalypse. It was kind of like HIV 2, I suppose. HIV 2. Saying HIV 2 sounds very tasteless. But yeah, it was kind of like a new version of that. Yeah. Okay, let me read some of the ideas. I've got an idea. Giant worms who keep the farmland fertilized at the size at the size of a small child. Look up microscopic image of a worm. Okay, I can do that. Microscopic. My search history looks absolutely insane because I go from doing like commissions to the next minute looking at monsters. I think they think I'm weird. What the hell is this? That looks okay. Well, that looks insane. That's creeped me out. I mean, that's creepy. Is that real? That cannot be. That's got to be Photoshop. That looks crazy. Wow. Okay, well that looks sick. Okay, microscopic worms it is. I like that idea, by the way. That's cool. Okie dokie. I'm getting back onto it. Will the diseases like cholera and other things have a resurgence? Absolutely. Yeah. Disease will be one of the main issues. I think disease will honestly kill more people off than radiation for a large period of post-war. I think I watched a video where they spoke about like the government like projected like what would happen if the world ended or something, and that was what they also came to the conclusion that most people wouldn't actually die of radiation as much as disease would kill a lot of people and starvation. Are there tanks in Barren? Yep, there are tanks. There is still machinery from the war left over. And what do tanks look like? Tanks will have a more diesel punk style, so they'll be a lot more like World War One meets future. I just like that style. I think it looks really fun, really cool, like you saw in the new space video. I like when something has that kind of harsh look to it. World War One, I think things look really cool. Yeah, so that's just kind of my preferred style. If you look up the story of the Elephant Man, the true story is really tragic. The movie is effective, but not accurate. That could be a great inspiration for the disfigured characters and freaks in the world. You know what? That is a really good point. I never watched that movie. I don't like watching movies like that. It just breaks my heart. Yeah. I don't want to watch movies like that. But I have heard it's a sad movie, but I'll look into it. Alright, we are back, and I'm back up to date. Do you plan on making Barren a video game, a tabletop RPG, or comic? I want to make Barren into a book, a tabletop RPG first. But I would be lying, and I think everyone that makes world-building projects would be lying. I want to make a game at some point, absolutely. So much so that I've actually started working on a game that is not Barren. Sorry to get you hype. And my idea is if the game does well enough, maybe I can fund the creation of Barren as a game. And obviously I'm still working on the book. So yeah, I definitely want to make it a game, but I think the reality is you gotta build it up. And I don't want to make the game rushed, so I'm gonna make it when I know, yeah, okay, it's time. And I think it'll be obvious when that is. What are most major crimes in Barren? Oh, trafficking would definitely be huge, but also thievery. People stealing to survive. People stealing from each other just because humans will do that. Yeah, I think stealing would be the main thing. That reaction was priceless. I'm not sure at what, but I like that. I had a worm spit on me once. How can a worm spit on you? How's that possible? Can a worm spit? I don't even know how that works. How the hell does that work? I mean, I've eaten a worm. Have any of you eaten a worm? I used to go fishing all the time, and I ate a worm once. They're disgusting. I don't know why anyone would. I think it was the worst thing I've done. It was stupid. But when I was a kid, I used to just do that because I used to love Bear Grylls. He was like huge, you know, when I was growing up. So I used to just eat bugs. And he lies. Bugs taste like crap. Bugs don't taste good at all. But, you know, hey, I'm going to eat bugs to see if they taste bad. Any world Smith's history is like Pandora's box. See, people always say Pandora's box. I have no clue what it is, but I'll say yes. Oh, botflies, yeah. You know, that's a good point. There's also, I'm ignoring the main thing, animals will be super affected by disease, which in turn affects humans. I see you low budget. So there are tanks in Barren. Yeah, I said before, there are tanks in Barren. They look very cool, World War One, kind of that cool diesel punk style is my favorite thing. Let me just look. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the most common things I get asked so that if I want, I can send people to this video. And also, I just think it's good to talk about in a more open way that isn't just me, you know, doing a video where I'm trying to like... Because I hate wasting time. So in my videos, you'll notice that I don't like put filler. I make sure that everything in a video is like, yeah, okay, that's proper. I don't like posting like crap filler, so we're not doing that. But we can do that here because we're talking openly. So I'm going to go through the most frequently asked questions, and then we'll just talk about that. But before I do, let me just answer one last thing. What mercenary factions would form? I take inspiration from Venom Snake from Metal Gear. Oh yeah, that definitely. I mean, that's kind of 103 is its own faction of people that pre-war were veterans, and then younger generations came into it, and they don't like the government and they want their own freedom. Yeah. Share some of your drawings and ideas on the Discord. I'll take a look as always. Okay, we're going to go through some old ideas. I appreciate all of the people that have watched the whole time. Durus and Q. I'm going to say Q or Clan. I'm going to say Clan, Q, Sorcerer, low budget. I really appreciate it. So, inspirations behind Barren. When I started Barren, I was... Oh, it's a bit weird to think about. When I started Barren, I think I was like just turning 17. Maybe 8. Yeah, I think so. And then I first posted about Barren, but I think maybe 6 months before COVID. My inspirations behind Barren were at the start Fallout and Stalker. But over time, I kind of felt that I wanted to take a more dark fantasy approach. And in the last year, I decided that I was going to do that. And that was what my first video was about. So Dark Souls is one of my main inspirations. Stalker is a game series that I love because the atmosphere is... I mean, if you want to play a game that makes you feel like you're in a world and it's got that kind of... I got spammed by an alarm. Stalker's great for that. Love Stalker. Other than Stalker, Dark Souls is the best game ever. I think by a mile. Obviously, you can have your own games, but Dark Souls is just like, I'm never gonna play a game that makes me feel like that again. And I'm okay with that because it was great. What a great game! And I beat that game when I beat that game when I was 10. That was my first video game, and I beat that game when I was 10. Yeah, I feel proud of that. Yeah, very good game. And obviously, I love Fallout, but I don't love Fallout anymore. I don't like where Fallout's gone in the last few years, and I hated the show. I won't lie. You can like the show. I hated the show. And I just hate where Fallout's gone. My favorite Fallout was New Vegas. That was my third game I think I ever owned. It was a beautiful game, but man, I don't really like where Fallout is now, so I won't play the next one probably because I just don't like the direction. I understand they wanted to make it more of a general light-hearted game, but I kind of thought it was more pretty when it was a little bit sad, and the music lifted you up. But Fallout has got a lot less serious and a lot more silly. And I kind of hated how in the show, like, it felt kind of like they were just going like, oh yeah, there's this thing from Fallout and you should know that. And then they would just kind of like brush over it. And yeah, there was just so many things in that show where I was just like, someone from the Brotherhood of Steel wouldn't do that. Why are they just ignoring New Vegas and then being like, oh no, it is a thing, but no, it's all dead or something. God, it was terrible. And so, yeah, I don't know. I understand some people really loved it, and you're allowed to love it. But yeah. You're going to have to get Discord. You don't have to, but I do love the Discord because it lets people talk in there. They can share ideas, and then I can respond to them and say whether I'm going to use them or not. So I give them a little approval tick. I love the Discord. Yeah, so stop on by if you are interested. But those are my main inspirations, and those are things that I feel like are important to the style of Barren and where I'm going with it. If you haven't played Stalker, definitely should play. What a great game. Are there any factions or tribes that live in shards? Yeah, there definitely are. Only the most extreme kind of people can pull that off. But they will be very different kind of people. They will be completely changed. And if they've lived in shards for long periods of time, they probably are quite isolated or disconnected from the outside world, and as such, their appearance will be very different. Their body shape will be strange, and they'll probably be inflicted with some form of madness. But yeah, that definitely is a thing I want to talk about. To be fair, the games are full of yeah. I get your point. I'm not saying that they're not allowed to explore that. I just felt like when I was watching the show, there was just so many moments where I was like, it feels like something Amazon made. You know, it doesn't feel like something made by Fallout fans, and that's fine. It wasn't the worst show I've ever watched, but I just didn't really understand. I mean, I just saw lots of things saying it was really, really good, so I was expecting it to be really, really good, and then I was like, it was not for me. That's all. Okay. Other than that, the lore behind Barren is obviously the world ends 1989, kind of at the peak of most revolutions. I think the 1989 is known as like the year of revolution and change. But in this world, sadly, change does not come and the world ends. The main reason for this is the fact that the world is different to ours. It's Pangea, and as such, the US and Russia collide closer, having a border. And when things like that happen, the world's going to end. And as such, lots of things in history, as you saw in the space race video, will be different. And we'll explore that more and more as time comes on. And the main line from the intro that I think is important to understanding the aim of Barren is that the people of today don't care about the past. They're writing their own history. They're exploring the future. They could not care less about that. And that's the whole point of Barren. It's people of today, the new world. Yeah. Anyway, now on to some other questions I always get. Why is Barren Pangea? The main answer is I wanted to do alternative history, but I didn't just want to do Wolfenstein. So when I was making it, I had this weird thought where I was like, I've always loved Pangea. How cool would it be, and how different would history be if the world was Pangea? Culture wise, events in history, how much would change, and how fun would it be if you played a game where you technically could walk across the globe? That is the main reason behind it. There's nothing more to it other than that. And I often get asked like a question which I feel like I understand the question, but I'm like, the point of Barren is it's not like one thing. It's like, what is the world of Barren like, the environment? All sorts. The world is not, one thing. You can be in somewhere like the UK and you have one area that's nearly a rainforest, technically, if you classify it, and then you might have areas that are barren, dry, and the world will be like that all over. There's not going to be one thing. The only thing that will be consistent throughout the world is shards, which are these strange areas that almost segment the land and separate areas of the world, and force people to think about new ways of travel and how to avoid them, and they affect lives constantly with how they change the world. That's the main thing. And the biggest of all of them, I'm not doing any of that Fallout shit where it's been 250 years and you're telling me the best thing in the world is Diamond City. Jesus Christ, no way. I have watched people build shanty towns in less than a week, like full-blown towns. Humans move on. Society moves on. There will be new laws, new changes to how things are run, and with that, there will be new cities, new culture, new architecture. It's not to say the world will be perfect or that things are smooth. It's just that humans aren't dumb. They don't stop doing things. So there definitely will be new cities, old cities rebuilt, new governments, new legality systems, I suppose, and a lot of change in the world constantly. Yeah. Anyway, let me read some. Hold on. What happened to Chernobyl and Barren? I don't actually know. It feels a bit tropey if I make a video about that maybe, but it would probably do very well for a YouTube title, but I'd have to think about what would happen with Chernobyl. Yeah. If you make a video game, you should make scenarios for it. Playing as one of the Soviets on the moon, being a peasant, playing... Yeah, you know what? That would be really fun. Like, what game is that like? There's a game where you can, start... Is it a Kenshi? You can, start as a peasant. You can start as, Yeah, it's Kenshi, I think. Yeah, that would be really fun. I'd love to do that. Absolutely, I'd love to do that. If you're doing Pangea, consider the current theories for what the next supercontinent would be. There's three. I keep getting told that I need to. Oh wait, yeah, I need to eat. That's what that I haven't eaten. Yeah, I've actually done that. I think I based it on the most common believed next one. I think so. Yeah. There would definitely be different names for things. I mean, yeah, there'd be names that are mixed languages. There'd probably be places in England that have some Swedish in them. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, I could do the whole thing where I just say it's something about the world changing because of shards. I haven't set that in stone as I think it's a part that doesn't really matter because the world is based in now. But I definitely could do a thing where the world was changing fast for unknown reasons. I made a comment about under the video, Bethesda's Fallout biggest issue is they don't understand just how much time 200 years is. Yeah, like, I understand if someone has lived in the US maybe their whole life, but like, having lived in Africa, you see people walk the streets with no food, no money, and you see these people, travel, they go with these crazy things they make themselves, and they carry resources back and forth as a community, and in a day there'll be 5 new houses built up, and yeah, they're not the prettiest things in the world, but they're decent size, they can fit a few people in them, they make makeshift toilets, and I'm just saying, people aren't dumb, I just hate the whole thing where, like, it's like, oh yeah, like, it's been 200 years, and you're like, it's been 200 years? 200 years in history is crazy. 200 years ago, the world was completely different. 200 years ago, like, the Industrial Revolution, like, wasn't it just beginning? Yeah, I don't know. I just hate when they just kind of, like, gloss over that. Yeah. Yeah, that is Kenshi. Okay, cool. I got that right. I'd review the Discord on stream, as it would get. You know what? Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I just worry about showing clients pictures and things because obviously they don't want to be included in videos and stuff. So I'm a bit worried about that. Okay. Other than that, when is Barren set? I've said it before. It's set in 2019 to 2024. That's not on purpose. That's by chance. It's about 30 to 35 years after 1989. And the world is starting to change. But that is just my take on it. If you were to DM this game or play this game, you could set this wherever you want. And as for the style of Barren, it's kind of advanced diesel punk, as many people have told me. It's almost like 80s style meets World War One to 2.5, with some dark fantasy to it because of the shards. And I often get asked about magic. Is there magic in Barren? I don't like the word magic, or at least I don't want to say, yeah, there's a guy that shoots fire out of his hand, because he's a magician. There is, however, paranormal, unusual oddities as shown in all the videos. That won't be weird or strange. You will see people that have magic to most people, and they might even be seen as wizards, but they aren't going to be guys that can make themselves float or something like that. But there's paranormal and oddities in the whole world. I think that is all the questions I always get asked. Okay, and here's the next one. People go, how do I get in? How do I give ideas? Join the Discord. The Discord is great. It's got some really cool people in there. It's where you share ideas, and I see them because I go through them every week, and I look and have a chat with you. Yeah. Yeah, it's been 200 years, and the wasteland is as radioactive as is when just the bombs had fallen. Yeah, I know. 200 years, they don't seem to realize radiation would be very, very, very different. But yeah. Just 200 years ago, the US was wildly different. The Great Depression was less than 100 years ago. My grandparents were children wandering shanty towns. People just lack perspective. Yeah, absolutely. I think having grown up in South Africa, I always struggle with that, and that's one thing I hated in Fallout. How many times I had to hear like an NPC say, oh, it's been 200 years. And I'm thinking, 200 years? I mean, I think they're giving Americans discredit. Americans are not lazy. They would do more than that. They wouldn't just sit around and go, fucking hell, the world ended. I guess we might as well give up then. Yeah, I hated that. I could never... I always used to have to ignore that because it just annoyed me. My family didn't own a car until the 1950s. They used to use a horse carriage until then. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, the world has fucking changed so much. To tell me 200 years wouldn't change anything, yeah. Is there any community that uses Steam? Any community that uses Steam? Like as in the game thing. As in where you like upload your. No, I don't think so. I don't know how. I don't know if you can do anything. What do you mean? Like, can you post on Steam? I thought Steam was for video games. I just joined the Discord. Awesome. I hope to see you post some ideas. Head over to the ideas chat with the nuke logos, and you can look through all the cool ideas. And if your idea is something that I think I'll definitely cover, I'll give it a little green tick. Yeah. Steam like Steam. Oh, Steam is in like Steam. Oh, okay. Wait. Let me read your message. Is there any community that uses Steam? I don't know. I don't know in what way you mean. I'll have to read that. Yeah, the Fallout world feels so stagnant. Yeah, I just think it's really annoying how the game is always talking about making progression and people don't do anything. Yeah, I don't know. It's so annoying. Fallout 3 had NPCs speak of pre-war America as if they saw it with their own eyes. Yet it's been 200 years since the Great War, and only a handful of them were ghouls. Yeah, that's another. See, there are so many things I love about Fallout. The music is brilliant. The style is great. Even though I want to say, if you have watched lots of older movies, it does steal a lot of the style, but it's fine. It's a great style. Um, but yeah, like what, why is everybody so stuck in the past? I guess is my point. Like, I don't think most of you here are probably American. I don't think you go around talking about always the past. Like, people move on. You don't need to just sit around waiting. It's so annoying. I hate that in that game. I don't also like how much they mention it. I wouldn't mind it if in Fallout it was like a throwaway line, but they mention it so much that the world, like in Fallout 4, I think like honestly over 50 times you get told it's been 250 years. And every time it happens I'm like, "Oh man, yes, I know it's been that long, but it doesn't really seem like it." I think the only way to justify saying it's like that after 200 years is the world ending. Um, the world ending devices keep being accessible and being used accidentally. Yeah, yeah, to be fair, that would make sense, but they never mention that though, do they? They just say that it ended 250 years ago. Oh, Steam powered stuff. Yeah, I think Steam powered stuff would definitely be a thing. I thought you were talking about Steam as in the Valve game platform. Yeah. There are definitely going to be child soldiers, but I probably wouldn't cover that in videos for the fact that I don't think you're allowed to even like talk about that on YouTube. Probably. Um, yeah, I mean there would be. I wanted to make a video on it, but I don't know how to make a video on it where it would be interesting enough to most people. I was gonna make a video on about how childhood wouldn't really be a thing anymore. Um, childhood is a very new thing. I think it's kind of a thing post World War Two. It really became a common thing. But before World War Two, most children wore adult clothes, had an adult lifestyle. Kids used to smoke often, do jobs that were damaging for themselves. You didn't have the privilege of enjoying being young. And in Barren, that would kind of emerge in a sense. There would be no room for being a kid. You have to get on and live life, and as such, society would change a lot, and children wouldn't really have the privilege of, enjoying being young and free. I want to make a video on it, but I don't really know if it's. I don't know if it's something that people care enough about. I'd have to think if people care enough, but I think it's interesting. Americans do tend to speak on the past as if they were there, the good old days. Rome was, yeah, true. I suppose people do talk about the past. I just mean I wish Fallout would like talk about the now. Honestly, our problem is that we're constantly running forward, tripping over small stuff. There's too many different types of people here to stay landlocked. Yeah, yeah. Kids had to work, otherwise family starved. Yeah. Um, And I think more stuff about zoo animals would be cool. Oh yeah, I definitely want to do like some things about how animals have changed. Chimps. Want to do some things on chimps. Yeah. I think childhood was a thing that happened in the Victorian era, but if I remember rightly, that was only the privilege of the rich. I meant like when most people had a childhood and got to enjoy freedom of being young. But having lived in Africa, it was not unusual or weird to see kids being forced to work, especially if you were of a different color. Sadly, you didn't really have the privilege because obviously they weren't given schools and they didn't have money. And that wasn't that weird when I was growing up. But then when I moved here, I was like, oh, okay, no, like that should not be a thing. That's really weird. But if the world ended, yeah, that would definitely go out the window. Yeah, share your idea about the chimps. Okay, it is getting late, and I actually have to wake up in the morning for like something. I can't even remember what, but I've got to wake up early in the morning for something. And I have to go eat some food. I have really enjoyed this though. I might do more of these, and I really appreciate all the people that stuck in here chatting away. Maybe I'll do one of these when I'm actually making some art. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek because you guys stayed the whole time, and I actually do wish I could stay up, but I just realized it's 2 a.m. I see why people that live stream just lose track of time. I mean, Jesus Christ, it is late, bro. Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek. Alright, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek. Next time I'll draw on stream. Alright, some of this you're not supposed to see. Okay. I am gonna be doing a video in depth about different parts of diseases. And I just wanted to share a little sneak peek at this is, by the way, like I only spent an hour on this, but this is an early concept of further exploring the teeth disease, and how it would completely take over the body, and by the end of it, they would be essentially, well, I mean, covered in calcium, their skin hardened and their bones changed. Yeah, this is just the first concept. I only spent a little bit of time on this when I had some free time the other day, but yeah, definitely look forward to doing that and exploring more of these illness things in the future. Um, so yeah, and so let me know if you guys have any suggestions for this guy. This is my current like notes and stuff. This is what I do in all my videos, but I never show. Like, this is the life of like when you're like doing art. You're like, oh yeah, no, no, no. Anyway, that was just a fun little concept that I hope to explore in the future. I actually really, really enjoyed that. I want to say thank you to Q Clux. Oh well, I can't read that, mate. I can't read that, mate. Sorcerer, Mr. Sweetly, Harold. Oh, sorry, Harold. I'm about to go off, but I hope you enjoyed the little sneak peek. You do deserve to see it because you stayed so long. Durkus. Every time I read that name, I want to say Drakus, but Durkus. Yeah, I want to say thank you guys for all the lovely comments. It was really fun chatting, actually. And you know what? In future, if you guys want, I might do a live stream while I do art. But I really enjoyed that. Thank you guys for watching. And I hope to see some of your ideas over in the Discord. If you do feel like joining in, head over to the Discord. It's linked in every video. You can post ideas over there. And yeah, I had so much fun, guys. Thank you very much. I'll be off now. I've got to go to bed.